Hey everybody, welcome to our third lesson, and today we're going to be going over author's purpose, which is basically the author's primary motivation when writing a particular text. And this could be just about any reading material, such as a nonfiction book, a fiction book, or even a cookbook of some sort. You know, every piece of writing has an intended purpose. Okay, so what exactly are we looking for when we're looking for the author's purpose? First of all, think of pie. These are the three main uh, purposes. The first one is to persuade, which is to get people to believe what they're saying. You know, this can be someone writing a news article about, let's say, uniforms should not be mandatory in public schools and all schools should believe this. They're basically trying to convince people, trying to convince schools to let uniforms be mandatory, trying to get others to believe in what they believe. And to inform is to provide information on a certain topic. Of course, this can be like your textbook, but this can also be something like National Geographic, or again, like a cookbook. It's basically providing you with new knowledge, something that you can take with you. And lastly, of course, is to entertain, to tell a story that people will enjoy. This can be along the lines of your fiction book. This can be, your comic book, something among fiction, mystery, sci-fi, like Harry Potter, Marvel Comics. Just something that's going to keep you, happy and motivated. So some questions to consider when you're actually looking for the author's purpose is, what was the main idea of what you read? So the main idea is not the same as the author's purpose. The main idea is like a one sentence summary of what the book was about, whereas the purpose, of course, was the author's motivation. And secondly, what sort of tone did the author seem to portray? Basically, what attitude did they have when you were reading through the story? What kind of attitude did they seem to have? Did they seem happy? They seem like sad? Or a little bitter? They could be a bit indifferent. It really depends on the story. And lastly, what kind of person would most likely be interested in this article? This is the intended audience, which is basically who the author is trying to write to. So, in conclusion, the main idea, the tone, and the intended audience are the three key factors that you want to keep in mind when you're looking for the author's purpose. So let's analyze the text. I'm sure by now most of you have already read through it, so what I want y'all to do, I want y'all to pause this video, and I want y'all to go over it again. I want y'all to look for the main idea, look for the tone, and look for the intended audience, and write down at least one sentence for each of those, and then we'll get back on it and we'll write them together to see how our answers differ. So by now, I'm pretty sure most of y'all have already, gotten your work done. You've written down the main idea, the tone, the intended audience, and your answers for each of those. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to provide my example, and we'll see how they compare with each other's. So what I got for the main idea was that people have different ideas of morality with age. That's basically what the whole concept was about when I was reading it. I'm sorry, let me try to correct this. I don't know what I did, I'm sorry. Okay, I'll just leave it like that. So the tone, what I got for tone is that the tone was indifferent, and it wasn't promoting any sort of bias. It wasn't trying to get us to lean in any particular way. I'm sorry about this. Let's see. Yeah. Okay, so the intended audience, what I got for the intended audience is that the intended audience are people who are interested in reading facts and research on morality. So basically, anyone who's just willing to learn something new would definitely enjoy reading this article. And so based on the main idea, the tone, and the intended audience, what do you think the author's purpose was in this text? But so yeah, according to everything we've gotten thus far, we can safely say that the author's purpose of the article is to inform us about moral decisions. We know this because the main idea is that people have different ideas of morality with age, the tone was indifferent, and the intended audience are the people who are interested in reading about facts and research on morality.